Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for some more Overwatch here at the start of Stage 3. I'm Achilles, back on the cast with Wolf. 3 weeks is too long. I have missed this place. I have missed casting some Overwatch, so I'm excited to dive back in. How about yourself?
I'm feeling excited about it too. You know, we're past the halfway mark now. Everything really matters here. There's no more second chances. Every single series you lose, if you're at the bottom of the standings right now, is one step towards not being in the season playoffs.
Yeah, and for Seoul, right now, they're half and half. They have that 7-7 record. Missed out on the playoffs in Stage 2 after finding their first one in Stage 1, so a bit of a disappointing run for them in the second stage. We'll see if they can try to work their way back in. Down at the bottom, though, their opponent is the Florida Mayhem. Have been undergoing some difficulties. But first, we'll go ahead and take a look at the Dynasty.
The Dynasty have had, you know, a fairly rocky season. They made their first playoffs in Stage 1, just barely missed it in Stage 2, having some uncharacteristic losses there right at the end. And it's time for them to bounce back. They're still very much in the running for making it to the season playoffs, which they were unable to do last year as well. And certainly, things are looking up for them right now compared to where they were at the end of the previous season and the start of Stage 1.
Yeah, and coming into this stage, we know that Seoul Dynasty has some additional players ready to go. Highly, they tweeted out just a little bit ago, will be starting over Ryo Jae-hong. Fisher back in the starting lineup as well over Marvel, so changing it up a little bit. We'll see if that experimentation is going to result in a victory here for the Seoul Dynasty, because their opponents, Florida, despite their record, have also changed things up a bit.
Yeah, they've been adding a lot more Koreans to their roster. If you take a look at their Stage 3 changes coming through, you can see Tavik, Apply, and S&T all taken out of the roster. McGravy's traded, and you brought Fate from the Valiant, and Byram, who's actually a Contenders player, who's also Korean, comes in from free agency. We'll see if Fate ends up being a big upgrade over Swan, who's one of the weak links, most would say, for Florida Mayhem right now.
Yeah, I mean, Fate was a little bit hot and cold when he was over on the LA Valiant. Certainly had some moments that looked, you know, very big brain, and had some other ones where you weren't quite sure what he was going for in that moment, but maybe over onto a fully Korean-speaking roster, he might be able to find some success. Only time will tell, but with Fisher back in, you can expect a lot of aggression up in that front line that he's going to have to deal with. So let's go ahead and see if they can do it as we bring them out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Florida Mayhem.
Rocking the colors everyone's been waiting for, the pink with the neon blue, their alternate jerseys, looking to start the second half of the season off right. A lot of adjustments, and, you know, Scott Tester, Barehands, he's been saying this is just the beginning. They want to keep adding more Korean players. They want to keep investing and looking at all contenders regions to improve this team. And it's not yet too late for Florida Mayhem to turn this season around, but it's a very uphill battle. We will see not only Fate starting on our starting 6 today, but also Byram coming from NRG. He's going to be coming in to fill the shoes here of Hagopun on Flex support.
Yeah, so changing things up a bit here. Let's see if that's going to be enough for Florida to go ahead and get a victory. Their opponents, the 7-7 record, they still have looked much better in this season. Let's bring them out. It's the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me.
Seoul's named the Dynasty, it comes from where they started, back as the legends that were known as Lunatic High, and that those players, most of them are gone, and Jaehong won't even be on the starting roster here as we head into the second half of the season. Fisher is back. Now we've got Hailey coming in. Hailey was on some of the weaker teams in Contenders Korea. His background in WGS and O2 is nowhere near Jaehong's background and successful history. To see him start today is a huge progression of his own career and how much he's grown as a player. He's now in the Overwatch League, taking this place of one of the most famous flex supports in the history of Overwatch. So big shoes to fill here, and with an upgraded Mayhem here, Seoul Dynasty better make sure they can keep their cool as we head into these first few maps.
We do have Fate on stage for the first time alongside the Florida Mayhem, looking to deliver them their second match win of the season, replacing Swan. A lot of people pointing fingers at him, saying, you know, one of the weaker main tanks in the league. Taking a look at their stats side by side, though, some pretty close numbers.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Fate is he's a stronger main tank overall, most would argue, but he's also played on one of the other weaker rosters in the Overwatch League. Didn't have the greatest World Cup showing, most would argue, individually for Team Korea, even though they took the whole thing, as they always do. We'll see what happens this year. But anyways, this is considered by most to be a big upgrade. Let's see if on paper with the eye test, though, we can actually see that happen.
And let's see where we're headed here with our map set presented by Toyota. Oasis going to start us off, followed up by Paris, then Hollywood, and then Havana to round things out potentially on Escort, unless we can get to another map 5. Already have had one electrifying series. Let's see if this one delivers yet again.
That we will. Excited to see how these newer players perform too on the, you know, the very beginning of a new stage, the second half of the Overwatch League, in front of a large crowd like this. A lot of pressure on Byram and Hailey in particular, coming from the contender scene.
See what they've got. Now they're up here on the big stage, pushing out. So we start things off on University. Fast to the point are the Florida Mayhem. Chris already going to be taken down, though. Hailey, he kicks things off with a bang. Explodes forward and manages to get the first kill here in his first game on stage. Now Zephyr going to be popped out of the mech, and Seoul Dynasty looks like they will be able to go ahead and lock down this first point with relative ease.
Hailey's known for his aggressive positioning, his ability to peek corners and get right-click kills early. Not always known for his transcendence timing. Seeing, you know, one of his old partners in crime, Lastro, played very similar styles in Korea, looking for frags, not really thinking about, you know, how to get the most out of healing, trying to get kills instead. It's a very popular style of Zenyatta in this meta, which is why it suits him. Getting that opening kill makes them get a free first take. You see him here as well, looking for those pokes around the corner.
Yep, building up, nearly has that Transcendence ready to go. Fisher not able to get too much as far as that Earth Shatter is concerned. He and Fate going to be on a similar level here at the moment. Rally's going to be coming through from Fleta, keeping everybody safe as they play far forward here at that choke. And Florida Mayhem go ahead, they draw themselves back, sound the retreat. Know that they're not going to find a fight win there.
They're not going to happen right away. Chris trying to look for a boot from above to split this team in half, but Dynasty is pulling back very smartly.
Re-aggression coming through. Fisher going to be stunned up for the moment, manages to stay alive. Hailey popping the Transcendence. Keeps that main tank topped up. BQB, high energy, has the grab ready to go. Just trying to track down Michelle. Responds in with a grab of his own, but Fate all on his lonesome will be taken down. The bomb out, not going to be able to find anything. But Michelle makes it back into the mech safely. And Florida again start peeling their way back. 60% on the board for the Dynasty.
The Transcendence there from Hailey looked suspect at first, but they wanted to force a bad engagement out of the Mayhem. They were able to trade Transcendence, and when the grab came through, they already had positional advantage, so weren't able to capitalize. And all ultimates matched here. This is amazing for Dynasty to still hold the defensive advantage here. And if they hit 99, they could just hold ults as well. They could just delay here.
Yep, barrier getting ready to come up for Chris. Toby's been hanging on to his for quite some time. Fisher dropping low, just kites it around the corner, keeping himself safe for the moment. Shadow gonna be coming down, goes straight into the shield. So Fate able to block that one out, maybe. A fighting chance on the Florida Mayhem to get this flip here just before we hit 99%. Still keeping this one contested. Fisher gonna be taking down the beat just a second too late. Manages to find that main tank. Florida responding with one of their own. The flip getting ready to come through. Toby gonna be taken down. The delay ends there. Florida Mayhem now on the board.
And you could forgive the sound barrier here for Toby because if he had hit it a split second earlier, they might have just won the first round. Chris had to trade to match, and they still hold all of their ultimates otherwise here, so they can crash onto this point a few times, force the Mayhem to use their ultimates defensively. They come in with an advantage. All they need to do is win one fight to win this round.
Yep, from there, even a miracle wouldn't really save Florida. Trying to flip it back. Poking out, Fitz building up that energy. Sitting at 70 now, Rally's going to be coming through from Fleta. Saya just a couple % away from having one of his own. Online now, pops that one just about instantly. Graf comes in, manages to find Fitz and Highly over onto the side. The Transcendence coming through from the Zenyatta. Try to stay alive. Fate going lower and lower here into the front line. Takes a fire strike, but they barely keep him alive as Byram pops a Transcendence. Coming back in, Fleta going to be taken down as Florida Mayhem do not go down without a fight. They maintain control, now going up past 50%.
Hyli's Transcendence protected them against the Graviton Surge and also the flanking Diva coming through from Zephyr, but it wasn't enough to win them out the longer fight. Byram's Transcendence a little bit later, and that meant they got that extra healing to stick through the fight, get the first kills. But now that they don't have the Transcendence and Fitz comes back with the Graviton Surge, and Toby in the longer fight should be able to build a barrier, this is the hardest fight the Mayhem will have to win to take this first round.
Pushing forward, grab bomb, ready to go. Support ultimates, trailing behind just a little bit here for the Dynasty, but still ahead of Mayhem as they try to close this one out. Pushing their way back in, Fisher leading the charge, gets that bubble to try to stay alive. Boop over onto the side, they try to find Bane. Defense Matrix comes up, but now that it's used, bomb comes out, Grab manages to catch him. That's going to be 2 kills scooped up for Fitz. Another 2 for Michelle, make it a triple, and Zephyr gets knocked out of the mech on the back end, and Seoul Dynasty will be able to take it 192 in our first round of Oasis.
They knew the barrier was about to be broken. There was no way Fate could keep holding the shield, so placing the grab in that location forced the reactionary self-destruct to come out from Zephyr. You see the follow-up come from Michelle. He placed the self-destruct behind. There's no way the barrier is going to hold. It's an easy one fight. They had the better ult economy because they held onto their ultimates as long as possible, especially that Graviton from Fitz. They knew that if they could just get it to 99, use their ultimates conservatively, and barring a huge mistake, they should be able to flip it there in the end. And now, it looks like we might see a little bit more BQB Sombra, you know, his most famous hero back in his Contenders career, but a little bit so-so here in the Overwatch League on that hero. But right now, it's all the rage outside of Overwatch League to run what people call Sombra Goats, which is Reinhardt Zarya compositions with Sombra rather than Diva. See if this works out for the Mayhem. It's one of BQB's most famous heroes.
Well, for now, up onto the high ground are the Seoul Dynasty. Fisher going to be operating on the Winston as opposed to the Reinhardt. See if he'll be able to stick through with that one the entire time, or if he's going to be feeling that pressure to swap over to try to match in that Ryan v Ryan battle. BQB just going to be jumping back, building up to about 40% of that EMP so far. Respectable number coming in as Fisher drops the bubble, goes in for a bit of a leap, just trying to harass and build up for that Primal Rage. About halfway there. Not too much damage coming out from either side. Aside from these Zenyatas, there's Byram and Highly trying to race to the top to get those Transcendences online. Byram, under some pressure, will be taken down. Fleta hounds him out, manages to find the kill, and that whip shot goes straight in the Sayaplayer's face. Double kill over to Fleta. He'll get pinned, eliminated by Fate, but I don't think they're going to be able to turn this one around. Fate, all off by himself, will be eliminated.
Fisher has the Primal now, but it's going to be so difficult to use it, and that was the entire game plan, you know, for this Winston pick that they got out early. But the thing is, if you get the charge up, if you get the Primal Rage, then you have another tool to delay. You could swap to the Reinhardt later. This ultimate is one of the least impactful ultimates when you're on a point like this where there's not really a whole lot of environmental kill potential. Let's see what they can get done with this, because that's really going to be the determining factor on how much % they can gain here, as Florida Mayhem is right in tow with them on ultimates, and the EMP is going to be their initiation.
Well, maybe he can just go ahead, try to force out a Transcendence from Byram as he nearly has it online. Juggle him into a corner. Fisher, though, jumping up into the front, will be hacked out by the EMP, but they're managing to keep him alive, and Fleta picks off Byram before that Transcendence can come through. Zephyr now going to be taken down. Seoul Dynasty looking fairly casual here as they maintain control of the point. 55% moving up. Look at the closeout Oasis with the 2-0.
Fisher doesn't end up needing to use the Primal, and during the EMP, they found an isolated target, Byram. He didn't have Transcendence. They killed him, turned the fight into a 6v5, used nothing but their own Transcendence and the Rally, two easily buildable ultimates. The big ultimates they're holding are going to be enough to bring this to 99 at worst case scenario for the Seoul Dynasty. They may just simply try to delay without ults and come back for this flop.
Let's see what the game plan is going to be. Fleta just holding up that shield, getting that third-person perspective, trying to spot them out. Manages to find BQB. Hoops him back. Not going going to have too much accuracy from that distance, so can't build up too much for the EMP yet. Still just sitting at 30% away, so can get that in an extended fight. Primal Rage going to be used by Fisher. Grab coming out from Zephyr. Not going to find anything.
Stacks
all by itself right there on the ground. Now the responding craft coming through from Fitz. Manages to find pretty much the entire team. Bomb's not going to be able to get anything, but the cleanup kills are still going to be there. Seoul Dynasty wiping the floor with the Florida Mayhem. They will be able to close out Oasis. It's 1 up in the series.
Crushing victory for them there. Everyone's caught in the same point. Fisher does the majority of the damage as he leaps through. You know, a lesson on how to use your ultimates conservatively when you get that first point. Seoul Dynasty keeping their economy ahead, step by step. Not easy to do against the Sombra.
1-0 start here for Seoul. Let's see if they can keep it going. Or Florida Mayhem bounces back when we come back for Paris.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Highly kicking things off with a bang. His first match there on the stage, got the first kill of the series, and he's looking pretty darn good on that Zenyatta.
He is, and this is another look for Seoul Dynasty. We've seen so many different players slotted into what is a very large roster overall.
So got Jexay.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got Jexay on the lineup. You've had, you know, Marvel and Fisher trading places. Now you've got Hylian, who's a rookie, coming in for Jaehong. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. Seoul is making so many different rosters work. It's unbelievable. No one else is really making this happen right now.
And Fleta back in for the first time in God knows how long. I'm not quite sure how long it's been since he's been starting. But yeah, I mean, looking good so far. So seems like they will just go ahead and carry on with the same roster as we move in to map number 2, Paris, for Assault. No changes on either side.
Fleta's Zarya overall was a bit weaker than some of the, you know, Zarya level of play we've seen from a lot of the other full Korean rosters. And he was replaced by Fitz eventually once Fitz got some of his nerve issues under control. And now he's back on the Brigida, which is a, you know, role that a lot of projectile DPS players play. And Fleta has always been most famous for his projectile DPS in the past. So I feel like this suits him very well. We'll see if it ends up being what they decide to go with in the long term, because, you know, Seoul certainly has a lot of different rosters, 6-mans they can bring through.
What they do? Here they go on the attack. Fisher going to be starting on the Wrecking Ball, likely a scouting mission. Yeah, none of that. Roll back over into the spawn. Let's change it up a little bit. Back over onto that Reinhardt.
Just want to make sure it's not a bunker composition. Verify that it is the Reinhardt Zarya 3-3 variation before committing. Don't want to give up too much ult charge by just crashing through the mismatched composition.
Fate playing very aggressively far forward, has that lead. Take himself out to safety should he need to. Fnatic's going to be zapping away. Gets that armor pack, still down below half HP. Rejoins on the high ground. Just trying to amp it up. He gets knocked over onto the low ground, and that's enough time for BQB to get scooped up. managed to find one pick. Seoul Dynasty, can they just go ahead and snowball in off this? It seems like they can. 3 kills over to them as they work their way over towards point A. Michelle just going to be pushing forward, looking to finish off the Lucio. Toby getting in the action as well. Will be able to find the killing blow. And A goes the way of Seoul Dynasty, who are going to have an absolutely monstrous time bank here for that point B take.
And when I was talking about the scout earlier, I misspoke and said Reinhardt Zarya. It was the Winston, which is more common on defense, right? And they verified that. Fate didn't get much done compared to what he would have liked to. Normally you get the shield from BQB, the bubble, and you do a ton of damage. A BQB builds charge. He died so early in the fight. BQB is at half the charge of Fitz right now. This could be a double cap if Florida loses anyone in the beginning of this first attack, because then the grab's going to come up for Fitz, and it's a disaster.
All goes back to Chris getting knocked onto that low ground. Just no healing coming out from the Lucio. The Zenyatta unable to do anything in an AoE situation without that Transcendence online. Still 22% away from that. Dynasty wrap around that right-hand side, start working their way over onto the point. Ultimates aplenty. A shatter nearly up for Fisher. They go ahead. They see exactly where Zephyr is. Prime position here for Fitz to use that Graviton Surge. He wants to hold on to it. Lobs it straight in behind the Rhine shield. Catches them. The Transcendence comes in from Byron, but Chris still going to be taken down. Highly managed to find the kill despite the healing output of the enemy Zenyatta. Now the shatter going through. Fisher not going to be able to knock anybody to the ground, but he's still chasing forward. Bloodthirsty, finding some kills. Grabbed off the point here for the moment, but one tick already snagged with 5:40 remaining on the clock for Seoul Dynasty. Might just be able to have it right here, right now. Can anyone tag in? Sayaplayer going to be dropping down. Dashes off the point for just a moment. The beat comes in. Bomb up over the top. Zephyr looking for a pick, but he's not going to be able to find anything. Now Sayaplayer is going to be taken down. Byram joining him in the grave. Seoul Dynasty looking poised to take this with about 5 minutes. Michelle. It's a cheeky little Diva 1v1, but while that was going on, Seoul Dynasty, they get the cap.
Lots of shield blocking there on the Transcendence from Byram as well when the grab came through. They had too much of an ult advantage. This is how 2CP is played in this meta. You get A in the first fight, you're going to have that ult advantage. Use it correctly, block that trans healing, and you've got a great time bank.
5:25 is a great time. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Seoul Dynasty with a pretty monstrous attack here on Paris. Finished with 5:25 remaining in the time bank. But now it's time for Florida Mayhem to go on the offensive and try to best that.
Yeah, you know, as I was saying, assault maps are kind of like this, so it's not unreasonable to expect that if Florida have a good attack on A, they could just do the same thing. It seems daunting at first glance when you look at a time bank like that, but it is certainly repeatable if the Florida Mayhem have a successful attack here. You then take a look at the last fight here, the self-destruct coming through. You do see that there is a bit of a step off of the point here for the Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, boops him off, and just right there at the end.
This Doomfist
trying to retreat
quickly enough there.
BQB was trying, but just a little bit too late. And I know those seconds really do matter. Even a fraction of one can cost you dearly.
And if you do delay for 2-3 more seconds, you might be able to buy 30 more seconds or 40 more seconds with respawns coming through. So it does end up costing them a lot, but They're focused now on matching the time bank. We will see Fate start with this Wrecking Ball to sort of scout out the setup. It's Fisher on the Rhine, by the way.
We'll also be seeing at halftime Scott Tester Barehands, GM of Mayhem, will be joining those guys down there on the floor talking about the recent additions to the team.
Yeah, that's going to be great to see. Fisher on the Rhine here, though. You know, we talked about the variations there between the Rhine and the Winston, and it didn't work out previously for Fate on the Winston on the defense. He got killed early, and BQB was cut off. Well, you have to play a lot more passively, though, as you can see Seoul is right now, behind sight lines.
Or behind shields. Boop there onto the low ground. He's going to be rolling through his Fate, trying to disrupt Seoul Dynasty. So far, not leading to any kills. A lot of damage on Michelle, though. That's going to be him knocked out of the mech. Sayaplayer managing to find a minor victory here for the Florida Mayhem as they continue to advance over towards the point. Good for Fitz, unable to find him. Fate going lower and lower, manages to stay alive for a little bit longer. Zephyr, in the meantime, trying to keep the rest of the team contained inside this building by constantly applying pressure from above with these rockets.
So it's such a good composition versus what Soul's running.
Fisher going lower and lower, but can't quite break that shield down fast enough to get the kill. Fleta all by himself. He's going to get picked. Michelle goes forward, will get knocked out of the mech, but Sayaplayer and Zephyr both going to be taken down, so the crux of the damage has been eliminated.
That was the catalyst for the hold for Seoul Dynasty, was the wraparound. The attention was putting pressure on Fisher. He has no way to defend himself. He has to hide behind his barrier, hide behind the walls. Look at how few ultimate charges he's built here. He's at 40%, did very little damage in that fight. It's the wraparound that's tricky that didn't catch the Mayhem, or the Mayhem didn't catch, rather. And it caught them off guard. Nice rotation. They've got ultimates now, though. EMP Barrage is a very powerful combo. Hyli's going to have to be on the spot here with the Transcendence. It may not be enough.
That and that defense matrix ready to go from Michelle. Needs to make sure that mech is going to be staying very healthy. Fitz, though, gets himself cornered, will be taken down. So suddenly the Graviton Surge that was about to be up at 4% is not going to be in the fight. Straight in over top. Disrupts him a little bit there. Does Fate. EMP now going to be coming through. 4 members going to be hacked out, including Michelle. Barrage coming in, but Zephyr unable to find any kills as Hyli does manage to get the Transcendence off and keep everybody alive.
Fitz will rejoin, too, very shortly.
Fueling inside the building, that's going to be the self-destruct having to be used by Michelle. He tries to stay alive, gets a kill on Byram, makes it back into the mech.
And Fitz is back now. Just
Sliver
swinging
of
around.
HP. Rez comes through, though. Chris puts Byram straight back into the fight, but Florida, they're kind of scattered, not really unified here at the moment. A kill there on the Fitz would have been quite nice as he still does have that Graviton Surge ready to go. Up on the high ground here is Sayaplayer. Not too many people who can threaten him at the moment. A little over halfway on this point so far. Sayaplayer under some pressure. The pocket comes through. Chris managing to keep him alive for the moment. Now just looking for a target. These heads seemingly just evading him. Can't quite line up the crosshair.
This is such a beautiful defense from Dynasty. They're everywhere they need to be.
Oh, but now Fisher, he gets sent in for a swim. And just like that, it might just unravel. Fitz manages to find Byram. He's still holding on to the grab. They wouldn't have the Transcendence in the fight to try to stay alive. Finally claws it back a little bit more as Zephyr gets taken down. Michelle going to be eliminated. Rest going to be there. Transcendence used by Hyli. And now BQB has a very big opportunity to just try to get in here and shut things down if he can catch Toby.
Toby can get onto the point. And he's got a sound barrier, but there's just no way they can hold it anymore. Fitz held the grab the entire time, and it's such a catch-22 problem when you're the Zarya in this case because you want to use the grab to try to defend, but you're zoned out by Zephyr's Farah. You can't get back to the point easily. If you use the grab to try to stall and it fails, you won't have it for the defense. You know you've already gotten the better time bank. Best case scenario, Florida Mayhem's looking at a 3:20-ish time bank here. That's best case scenario. You've already matched or bettered that by 2 minutes. So hold your ultimates, wait, and try to get the most value out of that. Eliminate the time bank further.
BQB just going on a little bit of a scouting mission. Pushes into this left side from the defender's perspective. Throws down that EMP and Fisher that far forward. Gets melted instantly. Toby managed to get the beat off. Now going to be hacked out. Nobody else going down on the side of the Seoul Dynasty here for now. Florida Mayhem are pushed forward onto the point, though, trying to find this cap. Toby going to be taken down. Sayaplayer opens things up a little bit more here for them. Grab comes in from Fitz, though. Transcendence is out from Byram. Charge in, manages to find Fate, takes him off to the side, but Fisher now isolating himself. Has to try to retreat out from the back. The Shadow going to be coming down, unable to find anything. A little bit lackluster from Fisher today as far as those Rhine ults are concerned. Bomb thrown in, catches him in the hallway. Beautiful timing there on the translocator. BQB keeps himself safe, jumps back in, and nearly has another EMP ready to go. No ticks gained for Florida Mayhem, but still fairly entrenched on the point.
This is a good spot for the Mayhem if they can get this EMP ready. They need this win now.
Rally going to be coming out. EMP manages to catch 4 here again. Fisher going to be melted down. Byram coming up with a kill. Chase into the back, looking for a kill onto Fitz. Gets the bubbles up. Has high energy, manages to stay alive. And Michelle stays in the mech with a sliver of HP. Grab's going to be coming in. Lobbed in over onto the side. Manages to find Fled up by himself, but the shield is raised. He stays safe. And in all of the chaos, Fitz picks off Sayaplayer and builds up a Graviton Surge again. Grab coming in now. Transcendence going to be expiring. Heal Deny coming out, but the beat is perfectly timed from Chris, trying to keep them alive. Hammer going to be dropped from Fate, unable to find any kills in the back of that one. And BQB is actually going to be taken down. So nothing picked up on point B, despite the highly elongated fight. Florida Mayhem going to be held off again.
This is exactly what Seoul Dynasty wants. They're able to delay so well, stagger their ultimates. Toby will probably swap back to Lucio. There he is. And you've got now a minefield to delay, and you should be able to build another Graviton Surge. Your biggest concern is going to be the ensuing EMP grab, where you don't have support ultimates ready. Toby just swapped. He's now back on the Lucio after his previous sound barrier nearly saved Fisher when he was up there on the Rhine. The minefield is going to have to do some serious work here for Seoul Dynasty if they're going to want to hold this. The rally will give them the longer fight advantage. It's a great place to use it, right in the choke.
Yeah, minefield is going to be coming in, completely denies them access from this side of the map. So just rerouting them. She says, all right, my work here is done. I'll go back over on the Reinhardt now.
Exactly. Now,
and he's not far behind.
BQB's EMP needs to be magical. It needs to be a big one. They need to get a kill immediately.
Rally coming out from Fleta. Grab online. Oh no! A major whiff coming through from Zephyr. Right there at the top of the stairs, but no one from Seoul Dynasty was there to catch it. It just hits the ground, much like BQB just now as Fisher swings a hammer, manages to find that kill. Zephyr trying to redeem himself after the botched ultimate. Does push forward, manages to take down the main tank of the Seoul Dynasty, but they need so much more than that if they want to get this cap on
100 energy for Fitz, excuse me. And when you look at an EMP like that, you could feel the frustration when you see it, because you know the grab is whiffed. You know the fight is lost. You EMP anyways. You get nothing for it. And you're playing for a time bank that you're not going to get. You should be playing for the next fight so you can hope to even finish the map at all. And I don't think it's going to happen here, not without the EMP that BQB just used. No Graviton left either. Fitz still high energy, still has his Graviton. They've got a trance. What are your options here for the Florida Mayhem? Not a whole lot.
I mean, Fate's got to hit the fattest shatter that you've ever seen in your life, and even then, Hiley is waiting with that Transcendence. Grab comes out from Fisher. He's looking to shut it down right here, right now. As we get ready to dip in under 20 seconds, Chris and Sayaplayer both going to be picked off. Fate still playing forward, but batted over into the corner. The hammer comes down. But Fitz finishes him off. That's going to be the cleanup coming through with 12 seconds remaining. Florida Mayhem, they are out of options. They're out of tools and ultimates to try to engineer a cap here on point B. Fitz just trying to track down BQB.
Finds him.
As well, going for that charge. Does not manage to get the tag. Overtime going to be ticking away. Sayaplayer pushes up with the rally rolling by himself, trying to delay for a little bit longer. Michelle gets knocked into the mech, dumps that self-destruct just to get back in and rejoin with the rest of the squad who are fighting in the hallway. Jump into the back comes through from Chris, keeping things contested here for the moment, while the rest of Dynasty start charging forward to finish off the members of the Florida Mayhem. They will get the kills. They will move up 2-0.
Very convincing play here from this 6-man roster. Hiley's in here. Fleta is back, and it's domination. Let's not judge this roster too quickly, though, because the series is not over, and this is against the Florida Mayhem. But we'll see what Seoul has in store for us going forward into Stage 3 and the rest of this match.
Well, 2-0 up, one more to close out the series here for Seoul. Let's see if they can do it on the other side of halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dynasty are looking to start Stage 3 off on a high note, and so far, it's looking pretty good for Seoul. They're up 2-0 over the Mayhem at the break.
Welcome back into the Blizzard Arena, everybody. It's Puckett. I've got Zoe. I've got Sideshow with me. You know their faces, but today, in our second match, we got 3 new faces.
Exactly, and one of them actually had quite a debut, and that is Hailey from the Seoul Dynasty. He played exceptionally well on that Zen role. Of course, his team also really enabled it, and not only did he perform really, really well in his first ever match, we also saw some faces which we haven't seen in some time. Fleta didn't play a single game in Stage 2, and Fisher only actually took to the stage for 1 single match. So it was great to see them also being thrown back into the mix. Now, I'm not sure if this is a case of them not respecting the Mayhem, thinking they can get away with any kind of roster.
Yeah, I think that seems like the most likely outcome to me. Here you can see Hailey versus another new face. We haven't seen Byron be featured yet, a former player from NRG, picked up by the Florida Mayhem. He didn't have such a great showing opening out here, but of course the Florida Mayhem lost. You would expect his stats to be worse, but I was very impressed just by what I saw coming out from Hailey, whereas Byron seemed like he didn't really have that much impact in the backline of the Florida Mayhem. They've still got a couple of things to work on. And overall, the Mayhem don't look that different to what we've seen from them throughout Stage 1 and Stage 2. The team is making changes, but this is a different roster. They've got Fate now from the LA Valiant, who is that leadership figure that we were hoping for a little bit of kind of direction from. And instead, we just saw him kind of playing pretty passive. He was getting knocked back a lot of pressure on his shield, not really going for plays as much, getting forced out, getting pressured out. It seemed like they were relying on the Sombra a little bit, but that went wrong towards the end of the match as well.
Yeah, I feel like Fate really wasn't able to activate to his full potential either, because BQB, normally your Zarya, he's been running that Sombra. You saw Zephyr running the Zarya, and he has not been at the top of his game so far today. But overall, this Seoul squad is looking great. They're 7-7 overall, and this team is in a position to jump into the top 10 with the win today. So keep your eyes on this team in the second half. For now, though, I want to check in with the Florida Mayhem. We have the assistant GM, Scott Tester, in the building right now with Danny Lim.
Thanks, Puckett. What is up, everybody? I am here with Bare Hands from Florida Mayhem. Hopefully you had a good break. And during the stage break, I heard that Florida Mayhem went through some roster changes. Can you briefly tell us what kind of changes you guys made? And also, what do these new players bring to Florida Mayhem?
Yeah, we were definitely busy during the break. As you can see, we added Fate and Byram to our roster. That's kind of the first step in revitalizing our front and back lines, respectively. And I think Fate specifically brings a lot of leadership and experience to the team. From his time with Valiant and Immortals and also the South Korea World Cup team.
Byram and Fate. So how are these new players settling in right now for like team dynamics? Are they comfortable right now, or are they still in the process of just settling in?
Yeah, I think we maybe have a little bit of nerves coming into today, but we hope to calm down during halftime and throughout the rest of the stage.
And I feel like Florida Mayhem is going through a lot of roster changes throughout the whole season. Is this the newest change? Is this it? Is this the last one, or are there more coming? Can you sort of tell us what's going on in the future for Florida Mayhem?
Sure, this is definitely the beginning of our revitalization process, and there's going to be some more additions to our roster coming real soon.
Exciting. Alrighty. Puckett, back to you.
As always, is Scott Tester, a very smart man who has been around the esports block for a while. Mayhem, they're not out of this one yet, but are you guys both going with the Seoul 4-0 here?
Yeah, you have to go with Seoul here. Mayhem just looked very scrappy. The communication just wasn't quite there, and overall, it just didn't really mesh just yet.
I would agree. Even with the strongest jersey upgrade in the entirety of the league, the Florida Mayhem, I don't think, are going to be able to take this one. But it's comforting to note that they are making changes as the bottom team in the league at the moment, and they have a direction moving forward. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, we might see something.
Josh, last question for you real quick here. If you're a Florida fan, you're looking at the second half, you want to focus on some positives, what should the fans be scouting for?
They need to be looking at BQB. I think they want to be working around this Sombra, and so the idea for them is to be making sure that this Sombra actually has effect. Towards the end of that final map, we saw EMPs just used all over the place. The ultimate economy not working out for them. So they've got to be cleaner with that Sombra Goats.
All right, get a little bit cleaner in the second half if you want a chance for the Mayhem. We'll find out. Can Seoul close it out? They need just one more after the break.
So one of the biggest challenges at the beginning was like to understand each other in game.
That was like really tough for me at the beginning because my English was like really poor.
Talking about strategy was kind of tough. Most of the callouts in game were fine.
That everybody knows, even though you are not really comfortable in English, like left, right.
Forward, back, behind. That's easy. But when you got like really get going deep in strategy, it's kind of tough.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are halfway through our series. Seoul Dynasty currently leading 2-0 after that. A monstrous victory on Paris, but we still have more Overwatch to be played. An opportunity for the Florida Mayhem to try to turn things around, get some map wins on the board.
Yeah, you know, I don't really agree with what Saicho said on the halftime show about Seoul using this just because it's Florida either. I really do feel like they're just creating more depth with different rosters. Everyone said it's the B team when Marvel was being run, and then that became their main roster later after using it basically exclusively on Control. So I think Seoul's got a lot bigger plans for this roster, and I'm excited to see how that all fleshes out. We will see Hagopun come back in for Byram here.
Yeah, I mean, we had that stat comparison coming through. I mean, overall, the healing and the damage was pretty close, but the kills and the deaths is really where they were separated as far as those twos, and Yada so highly kind of getting the better of him. So we'll be taking a step back, and Hagopun, the veteran, will be coming in to try to lead the charge here a bit more for the Florida Mayhem to try to turn this series around, put some wins on the board, and maybe extend us to that map 5. Hollywood coming up for Hybrid.
This is historically one of Hyli's better maps as well, especially on A, you know, where the Zenyatta matchup for the attackers and defenders is huge. If the attacking team Zenyatta gets transfers, there's so many things you could do with that. You know, you could approach with it, you could win the longer fight with it, and you usually know when you're the Zen versus the other Zen with all the callouts and the ult tracking who's going to get that first. Hyli's been very successful on this map in the past in Contenders Korea because of his, you know, we were talking about earlier on Oasis, his right clicks poking around corners to get kills. For the Mayhem, it's going to be Fate on the Rhine this time. Much more standard on Hollywood to run this than the Winston.
Pushing forward, Dynasty here on the attack initially. Just going to be changing things up a little bit. Seems like Michelle Wants to run a little bit of Sombra here.
For those who, watch the New York game, you'll remember Michelle's success with Sombra on this map in the Stage 1 playoffs where they were able to defeat New York Excelsior with a hack on the trance and all that, but it's one of Michelle's better maps for Sombra.
Oh, into the back. Pushing forward. Chris taking a bit of damage as he tries to contest Michelle. He's going to be all right here for the moment. Has that Harmony Orb coming up from Highly to keep himself sustained in the back lines. Good angles coming through here for the Dynasty. Starts ticking up, just trying to draw them off that high ground.
Yeah, Zephyr's playing with fire with his flanking position right now, but it's actually working out really well for them.
I mean, they have no way to drag them down unless the entire team gets onto the point, because there's no Diva to push them off.
And Zephyr's cutting off the path here from this choke, and he's actually built, a decent amount of ult charge while doing so.
Just trying to slowly tick that one up. Fitz just trying to lob in those right clicks. Is surpassing BQB by about 20% here at the moment, so Grav will be online sooner for the Seoul Dynasty. Now the fight's starting to break out. Fisher going to be pushed over into the side, gets stunned up for the moment. Down below half HP as they try to keep him alive. Michelle manages to get the EMP ready to go in the meantime. Zephyr, nearly knocked out of that mech, will be, and that's going to be a hack on pretty much everybody on the side of the Florida Mayhem, as now Dynasty just looks for the cleanup in the cap.
Hagupun not in position to use Transcendence to counter the EMP. Not to say that the Transcendence would have necessarily been enough, but it is the standard response versus an EMP like this one. And to get all 6 caught, that's normally when you see someone give up a fight on Streets phase between, A and B or B and C, where it's a lost fight versus EMP. You don't want to waste your support ults because the grab is coming up. In this case, I feel like it would have been better to try to use it, try to spin the fight, get a kill, or at least force the trade on Transcendences with Highly. But he got caught, so they didn't have any choices to make there. Just simply giving the point up, and Seoul wins it with 1 ult, and now they swap back to Diva.
And now they can really only rely on that Transcendence, holding on to that one, as they wait for Fitz to use the Graviton Surge. Fortunately for them, the swap has come through, so Diva on either side, and Michelle, oh man, straight back over onto the Diva, immediately gobbles up BQB's Graviton Surge. Just takes that one away. And the cart will continue to roll. Hagupun caught. How can he use the Transcendence? Oh, that is so egregious.
He's trying to block Fitz, but it's not going to work.
Going to block him in. Yeah, now the beat's going to be coming down. Fate juggled into the side room. Does have the rest of the team here to try to back him up. Transcendence going to be coming in from Highly. Grab comes through. Fitz catching him on the side. Zephyr going to be popped out. They push forward indoors to try to clean up the rest of this team. Fate manages to come away with 1 kill on the Fleta, but he himself will get taken down, and Fitz barely survives that duel with BQB. The team kill comes through, and Seoul Dynasty keep cruising through the second phase of Hollywood.
That Transcendence from Hagupun, a big issue there. Very greedy. Hagupun's a very emotional player, and, in situations like this, sometimes you want to try to make the big play, get the trance out early, try to get that block, but, it costs them big. He's halfway to another one, but look at all the pushing power that Seoul has right now.
Yeah. So Josh Wilkinson Transcendence right there.
Certainly.
Graviton Surge. Ready for BQB. Can he line this one up? Does Michelle take another one away from them? There's Chehobin doing a fantastic job of denying grabs in the first series of the day. See if Michelle can try to match him here. Yeah. Steady on the defense right now for the Florida Mayhem. Not much energy here for BQB. Pops the bubble, goes very low. Grab coming out in a bit of a panic. Transcendence forward here from Highly. Not early enough to keep Toby alive and in the fight. Seoul Dynasty, though, still looking to turn this one on its head and get the victory. Fitz manages to find 1. Now Fleta going to get picked off. 2 members down. And several more maybe on the way here for the Seoul Dynasty.
Another questionable trance.
Bomb up over the top, looking for the pick. Not going to be able to find anything. Makes it back into the mech safely. Does Zephyr. Shatter coming out. Knocks him into the ground as Fisher falls. Still a very scrappy fight coming through, but with Michelle finally getting knocked out of that mech, that will be the cleanup. That will be the hold. 0.96 meters away. Florida Mayhem finally gained control.
A hindsight bias here makes it look like a good trance because it did win them the fight. They were able to stick to the point, get those kills off the fact that the trance gave them that extra healing. If it failed, though, it would have been super bad for the Florida Mayhem. So risky play for Hagupun again. This time it works out and it looks good. When you look back at it now, very risky choice to make, though. Very critical ultimate to have.
Fire strike through from Fisher, unable to find anything. Beat and Transcendence nearly online here for the Dynasty. Rally out from Sayaplayer, leading the charge to go on the aggressive side of things here. We're Seoul back for the moment, with 1:25 remaining in the time bank. Back over onto the cart, though, as that rally expires. The armor starting to get stripped away here from the members of Mayhem. Lose out on that. They're still waiting for that sound barrier to come up from Chris. Dangerously close. Toby's going to manage to find his first. Drops the beat. BQB taken down as the grab comes through. The damage is not going to be there without that Zarya. The front line completely decimated. Now Dynasty is slipping their way into the back line. They clean up the members of the Florida Mayhem again. Extended team kill as they roll into beat. 2:24 on the clock for the final stretch.
I don't mind BQB's grab there. He's going to get staggered, unfortunately. So will Fate. But I don't mind his grab so much because he traded for Hyli's Transcendence. Fitz is going to have his versus Hagapun's Trans because he built one after that one that saved them for B. So they know the matchups of ultimates, and they're kind of winning those right now because they got Hyli's Trans. If they did not, I don't think that they would have a very great shot of holding here towards C around this corner. But now they've got a good shot with this Trans from Hagapun. It's ready now versus Fitz.
Drop down coming through from Fate. Contests the cart. Around that first corner. Bomb going to be coming in from Zephyr, looking for a pick. Throws that one into the back, but Fitz says thank you very much for the energy. Pumps that bubble, stays alive. Now the grab comes in and responds. Even with that healing coming out from Hagapun, it's still going to be Chris taken down. Now the shatter in from Fisher. Doesn't fight too much, but they will be able to pop Zephyr out of the mech and finish him off. And get that cart rolling again as the rest of Mayhem pulls back over towards the trailer.
I don't feel like it was necessary for the Mayhem to engage like that. They used Zephyr's bomb as the initiation, and everything's falling apart here.
Yeah, Toby. Knocking Fate back into the rest of the team. They could have the kill.
They could have played more passively. They could have played around the choke. They could have played reactionary around the Transcendence Hagapun had versus Fitz, but they gave Fitz the opportunity. They gave him the grab because there was a bomb out. He couldn't eat it. Fitz could grab wherever he wanted.
Yep. It's good reaction there from Fitz. Nearly has that next grab ready to go now, lapping BQB. Rally going to be coming through. Sayaplayer up into the thick of things, swinging away. They managed to find a kill here onto Fisher. As the clock drops below 50 seconds remaining. Good time by here for the Mayhem, getting rid of that enemy Reinhardt. Might just be able to hold them off here at the final stretch. 4 ultimates about to be online for Florida.
And for Florida, they really need to try to force out the Sport Ultimates off the cart. Play aggressively here with the grab. Easier said than done, but they've got to try it.
Grab is ready to go from BQB. Needs this one to land. If this gets taken away by Michelle, that could be it here for this push. Give Seoul Dynasty the finish. Shatter going to be coming down. Fate unable to find anything. Beat out from both sides. The rally's rolling for FlatUp. Grab comes through. Managed to find Sayaplayer right up here into the front. The cart is still advancing. Are they not paying attention to this one? Toby, he's just rolling in. He gets the boot back. And he basically backdoors the cart. Everyone's focused on the grab that only caught the Brig.
They're winning the fight. It's hard to collapse on Toby in that situation. He sees the opportunity, sits on the cart, and rolls it through. Not the greatest time bank, 4.2 seconds.
But it's a time bank.
It's a time bank, and that's all that matters.
That it is. Let's go ahead and see what happens for Florida's attack when we come back for their half.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Florida Mayhem getting ready on stage to go on their attack here on Hollywood. Seoul Dynasty barely scraping by a fish with time in the bank, 4.2 seconds at the end. So some really good time buying moments for Florida, but unable to stop them finishing the map.
Yeah, and it feels like all eyes are on Florida. So many expectations. They've changed their roster so many times, coming from last year into Stage 1, Stage 2, and now in Stage 3. They made these small improvements. And so everyone is always very scrutinizing of, you know, how well they're doing after these new additions. They've got Fate, but they're still not looking dominant. They're still not having that much success. But it's okay, I think, to not look dominant on your first day, having Fate, Byram on the roster, Huckman's back in, now here on this map. And they did bring Seoul down to only 4.2 seconds. There is a world where they get a much better time here, but they're going to have to make slightly better decisions with how they use their ultimates and how they engage in team fights. And that was the big issue there on the defense. A few more fights go slightly better, and they could prevent C.
Well, they're going to be looking to do just that. Fate pushing forward. Sees Michelle over onto that left-hand side, so wrapping around through security. Going to be the full flank coming through, but instantly Seoul Dynasty, they jump over into the cafe, trying to cut them off. Michelle's going to be spotting to try to identify which way they're going to be trying to come in. Seems like it will be the cafe fight. They start pushing forward. Shield raised as they go ahead and peel back. Just not sure which way they can realistically go here.
They're going to have to take this route, but they eat a ton of fire strike damage for it.
Yeah, they get up onto the corner here. Start ticking up onto the point. Fleta could be the one to drop down to start the contest. Now Fisher right up into the thick of things. Starts swinging away, but that's going to be costing him his life. He gets taken down. Sayaplayer.
Perfect bubbles, but they couldn't get the follow-up kills.
Straight back into it, waiting for Zephyr to rejoin. He's coming through the choke. Pusher in the backhand side. Dynasty very much aware of this. Fisher gets that Earth Shadow ready to go with that final fire strike. Grab, degrab, ready to go. It's going to be a battle of these divas more than likely to try to deny the Graviton surge from either side. Shell taking a bit of damage there into the backside. That's going to be the grab coming through. Managed to find Fisher. They charge him out into the back and they finish him off. BQB coming up with a kill. Rally's going to be out from Fleta. Now the beat going to be here from Chris. As they try to go ahead and get the cap onto A with Hiley getting taken down. Seems like Dynasty might just have to give this one over.
They're going to cut their losses and back off. Re-engage here isn't realistic. So really nicely done pin there. You know, we've seen New York Excelsior love to do this. Just go for the grab, you get the follow-up pin backwards. Vancouver as well. All the top teams are kind of emulating that style right now, and Florida Mayhem made it happen. Fate gets that kill. Seoul Dynasty decides to hold ultimates rather than try to take a fight to win 20 seconds. They want to maintain as many you know, sure, at the end of the day, it's an ultless map. All 12 players are out of it, but I feel like that could have been saved for a more pivotal moment. Played more passively.
Well, for the side of the Dynasty, Hiley does manage to build up that next Transcendence ahead of BQB's grab. Just 13% away, though. See if they can bait that out in some way. Trying to make sure that next Graviton Surge can really pop and allow them to get across the line here into B. 2:40 on the clock, so not looking too bad here on the Florida Mayhem on their attack. Still need to get to the finish, but as much time as they can finish with, it's going to help them out that much more in those potential overtime rounds. BQB getting tagged up Michelle over onto the side. Nearly knocked
Grab
out of the
opportunity.
tag. That's going to be the grab coming through onto the cart. Manages to catch about 3. Charge coming in. Fate gets rid of Fleta. Suddenly no bring in the fight. Shatter coming down. Vince just goes ahead. Soaks that one up with a bubble, but the sun comes in from Sayaplayer, rejoining. Knocks down Fisher. The front line continues to suffer here on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Michelle going to get cleaned up, and again, Florida Mayhem managed to push in. 4 ultimates still held BQB about halfway to that grab with 3.5 minutes left in the time bank.
The strategy here again is to grab and pin, and what looks like a U-turn. You know, I don't know. We don't have a name for this style yet. Maybe we'll start calling it U-turn. I've just thought of that right now, but it's working so well for them. They saw Michelle was out of position. They knew they had the free grab, and they immediately, Fate is so ready to get that reverse charge. So well executed. And now they've got a great time bank here, potentially.
Oh, the poop coming down. Zephyr was waiting around the corner. Manages to knock Seoul Dynasty off that high ground. Shatter going to be coming in. This is the catch out. 2 members. The beat's going to be coming in. Stacking support ultimates over the Florida Mayhem. This could bite them in an extended fight. We'll have to see what happens. Now the grab's going to be coming in with the beat layered in for Seoul Dynasty. Chris picked off. Bomb unable to find anything, but Hagoput trades one back, eliminating Fleta. Fisher trying to stay alive will be taken down. The Florida Mayhem will continue to advance.
BQB's bubble usage on this map has been insane. He's constantly maintaining high energy. He's keeping the front line alive. He's working well with Fate to build that energy and also save him. That's why Fisher's dying first in a lot of these fights. 100 energy right now, and he's got the graph. This could be an amazing time bank for the Mayhem.
Chunks flooded down to half HP. Wants to knock Michelle out of that mech. If he can get it, grab's going to be coming through. Manages to catch them. The Transcendent's going to be used by Highly. The bomb thrown in from Michelle, looking for a pick to try to buy some space, and Chris is going to be taken down. That's a good start for the Seoul Dynasty, but it's still 2 minutes on the clock if they want to win this and close the series right now. Riley rolling for Sayaplayer. Hagoput gets the Transcendence online. Fate has an Earth Shatter, waiting for an opportunity as Michelle swoops his way through the team, but doesn't come up with any kills, and Fisher's going to be picked off again with that Earth Shatter ready to go. Grab in onto the cart, Sayaplayer falling low, but the shield is raised from Fate, and he manages to stay alive, slinks his way into the back. Fate under a little bit of pressure here, getting the heals coming through from his squad, manages to stay in the fight. Seoul Dynasty trying to hold on. There's 0.78 meters left to go. The bomb is up from Zephyr. Stun out of that Shatter is Fisher. Not going to be able to get anything. The beat is rolling and Fate will still crumble. Bomb buys him a little bit of space and Michelle makes it back into the mech. So that will be the retreat coming in for Florida Mayhem as Sayaplayer gets picked off at the end.
It was such a tunnel vision moment there for the Mayhem. They went for the bash onto Fisher to try to set up, not to block the Shatter, which was an extra bonus, but to set up for the bomb that Zephyr sent through. But it put them out of position, and when the bomb didn't connect, they were all way overextended, got picked as a result. Highly still holds another trance here. He's building these so quickly that this grab is no longer the tool they can have. And what looked like maybe a great time bank might actually be Seoul Dynasty taking this series away from them.
Yep, gonna be dwindled down. See if
100 energy though.
Can finish this thing. Still looking decent for them here on this attack. The beat's gonna be coming through.
Transfer
under some pressure. Manages to find the kill. The fire strike coming through. He stays alive. The Shatter catching 2 members here into the back. And Sayaplayer is gonna be taken down by the pin. Hagoput unable to deny that pin away. With that Transcendence rolling. He gets 1. The cleanup comes through, and suddenly there's 35 seconds left in the time bank.
It's all Fisher. That was all Fisher. Perfectly done by him. Gets the charge through. Maximizes damage in a very critical situation for the Seoul Dynasty. He comes up big in the face of that grab. 100 energy. And highly trancing early. He's almost got another one online, by the way. Now they've got all the tools to take the fight to the Mayhem and close out this series.
Nothing to take away this grab other than that defense matrix here from Zephyr. If he nails this one, could be it. Throws it straight in on top of the Ryan shield, back of the cart, bomb into the back from Michelle. Unable to find any kills with the explosion. Overtime starting to tick away. Sayaplayer inches forward. Gets the tag, keeps the overtime going. Fate's barrier destroyed, and he falls low. Has to peel back to get the mega pack. Shatter comes in, and that's going to be Fisher looking to put them down. No kills to come in yet, but the beat going to be rolling from Toby. They're still holding on to a Transcendence. Seoul Dynasty, they don't want overtime rounds. They want the series finished right here, right now. Fisher pushed into the corner, going lower and lower, juggled around by the members of Florida Mayhem. The Graviton Surge going to be coming through, catches them off the cart. Bomb into the front from Zephyr, but they can't get rid of the shield. The boop comes in, Toby will be eliminated. Seoul Dynasty still fighting tooth and nail to stop this one right here. Fisher falls down to about half HP, pulls back up the stairs. Continuing to roll forward. Can anyone tag the cart? They managed to do so. 0.85 meters left to go for the Florida Mayhem, who will not be finishing with any time in the bank if they can get this. So we'll have to hold them off. Try to hope for a draw. Michelle going to be popped out of the mech. Hagoput taken down. Toby swapped over onto the Ana. He's locking him in, looking for those heal denies. Bionade coming up now. Tosses it down, kills off the Baby Diva. Chris falls, the overtime plummets, and Seoul Dynasty, they successfully hold here on Hollywood, and they close out the series with a 3-0.
We will have that fourth map to play, but this roster is looking clean. Right now, to see Hailey on this stage, performing well, dominating versus Hagapun, it's going to be a good look for Seoul Dynasty with the schedule they have for Stage 3.
A little shaky on that defense, but they get the victory nonetheless. One more map coming up, the new one, Havana. We'll see it when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Into the iris. Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности! Pass into the iris.
Cool thing about the map, though, is that it's got several different types of playstyle, and you kind of start in a very open area, you then go indoors with this high-low grounds, and you find a finish in a more middle-grounded, open area, but there's also a lot of chokes and corners to consider, so, you know, it feels like this map draws inspiration from a lot of existing Overwatch League maps and puts them all together, and that's what's super cool about it to me.
Yeah, I mean, we have to see how this gets played. You know, really uncertain what these guys have prepared for it. They have known that this was going to be in Stage 3 for quite some time, so we can expect that everybody has been grinding on Havana to try to get prepared for this moment. But Mayhem and Seoul Dynasty, they draw the straws. They get to go first.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to see how they do it, too, because, you know, I think you could certainly run different compositions on this map. It doesn't certainly have to be the 3-3 from start to finish. You're going to always be thinking about ult economy when you're swapping those, but I think more styles are viable. We will have Illicit stepping in for the first time for Fleta.
Yep. He'll be subbed in here right at the last map, Dynasty. Otherwise, not making any changes. There's going to be Illicit coming in, so Fleta back into the waiting room for him. His job is done. I want to get some play time for Illicit up here on the big stage.
Illicit, very much a projectile DPS player that was known for being subbed in for specific compositions back in the day. And you know, this is a map where, you know, if no one really knows exactly how it's optimized yet, you could have this player come in and play something unexpected and surprise people. Or you could just say, I'm up 3-0. I want to give Illicit some stage time today. We'll never know what the real reasoning is, but once we get into the map, I think we'll know.
I think it's probably that. We'll see if they have anything super fun prepared for this new map. But, outside chance that he just ends up back onto the Brigitte instead of playing those kind of namesake picks such as the Hanzo and the Pharah. But we'll see what they have for us. Florida Mayhem just looking to stem the bleeding a little bit as they try to get one map win here on the board. Obviously, nobody has any victories or losses here yet.
Yeah. So this map plays very different than any other escort map because of how open the start is. You can see how you can look down this choke point. It's not that narrow, though. It's very long. So you have a long line of sight as the defenders and as the attackers. You're always going to be vulnerable as the attacker to the defenders' range DPS as you come out of the gates. In terms of defense, we are going to see a bunker composition set up here for the Mayhem with the May variation. It's even going to be Sombra, so it's a very, map-specific comp, and it only has the one support of the Batiste, so that's going to be necessary. The Immortality Fields need to keep Hagapun alive.
You can take the May out of the Florida May, or the Thick out of the Florida Mayhem, rather, but you can't take the May out of it, it would seem. So still going to be
Mayhem, if you will.
Oh man, that was worse than me messing up my joke. But here we go, Seoul Dynasty. Looking at matches, Illicit does go over onto the Hanzo. Just trying to figure out which way they want to shift around and get over onto that cart.
The Hanzo is considered one of the better counters to the bunker composition, so Illicit already expecting that they'd be running this coming out. Kind of what I was talking about before, bringing the Hanzo specialist in. Immortality Field used early here, so something to consider. Once that is gone, they have to reposition.
Yeah, and the barrier is getting broken down. Michelle actually managing to find a hit there on a Sayaplayer. Fitz jumping around the back, spots BQB for a moment, but is unable to line up a shot onto him. Zephyr playing forward here onto the cart for the moment. Just trying to keep things contested. Fitz getting frustrated. Come on, just peek me. Let me get a headshot.
He's actually doing a great job of slowing this down while they get that next Immortality Field ready.
Well, that's going to be that Hamp Field coming through, and Hagapun just melts down Michelle. Looking for a bit more. Will be able to get Fitz. Rez coming through, puts the Pharah back into the fight. Hagapun is very quickly approaching that configuration tank as he cleans up another kill now onto Fisher.
And as silly as it looked to have Zephyr out there by himself, he did his job perfectly. He didn't do a lot of damage, didn't build a blizzard, but he delayed long enough for them to get the setup there, to toss out that amplification matrix, and set up the defensive setup they need. If they lose control of it even for a second, they're going to have to change comps. They're going to lose their ultimate, so they need to hold this as long as possible, and Zephyr did a great job of making sure they could make that happen. Here's the Dragon Strike coming through. Good angle.
Yep, throws that one in. Hagapun going to be taken low, but that Immortality Field, of course, does come through to keep everybody topped up. Now the EMP out from BQB catches 3. Fate finishes off Fisher, and Hagapun pushes forward, looking for the snipe onto Hailey. Can't quite get that Zenyatta, but 1 kill over to the Mayhem is enough for them to win the fight.
This is really scary when you don't get that many kills with the tank, though, because you got to rush back up to the top and get into position as soon as possible, because Seoul is coming out of the gates quick. And, the next step here for Seoul Dynasty is going to be to look for a barrage setup here once the barrier is down. Zephyr caught.
That wall comes up, though, keeps himself safe. Nades lobbed in from Chris with a right click does help keep him alive. Shell takes a little bit of damage from the poison trap, but otherwise will be okay. Immortality Field going to be taken down. Zephyr eliminated at the cost of Illicit. The cart starts advancing. You can see the shift into the back now, just playing these corners, playing these street angles. Are the Florida Mayhem with this bunker. Another amp field going to be coming in, but Hagapun taking down Michelle. Manages to get the Bastion with the rockets.
That's massive. That's the majority of their damage gone. They could use the Blizzard to delay, but I think they might want to consider a composition change here, because they're not going to be able to get this setup done in time for A. And that's exactly what they do. Hagapun onto the Ana now.
Shell pushing forward. Couple rockets coming in, looking to finish them off, but unable to find it for now. Blizzard going to be thrown down by Zephyr. Will freeze nobody as Fisher escapes, and Hailey has that Transcendence rolling. But still a chance to contest here as Fate continues to push further forward with these barriers right up in front of the cart. A couple meters away from point A. Chris under some pressure goes low, has to use that Immortality Field.
Good angle here for Michelle. He's just avoiding this barrier completely.
Yep, drags Fate out. Michelle snipe comes in, and Sayaplayer manages to snipe the kill. Now gets another one on the Hailey. Double kill coming through. The EMP going to be used. Hacks out 2, and Fate's going to fall. Dragon Strike rolls out for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. EMP there. Finds 4 on its Seoul. As they continue to trade back 1 and 1 here. Illicit puts 2 on the board. Trying This creep of victory, trying to get into A triple kill, a quadra kill.
Illicit, he's in here on the Hanzo. You know, it makes sense for the map. Strong against Bunker. You know, they've probably had some experience playing against Bunker on this map. The figured Mayhem would try it. I mean, if you look at the architecture of how A is played and how wide open, you know, the expanse is where a Bastion can get value, and how many chokes you can operate around with the Orisa, you know, it's not a surprise that we would see it. Illicit comes in here on the Hanzo, does well, and now he's done his job, and they can swap over to the Brigitte.
Michelle just having some fun, pops that barrage right before swapping off. We'll be over onto the 3-3 now. BQB up above. Trying to get an angle. Trying to build up for that EMP. Looks like the high ground approach is going to be coming through for the Seoul Dynasty. Work their way up here onto the walkways. Fate still playing forward. The cart in the meantime slowly advancing forward. Trying to get it across this minor bridge. Michelle going to be lurking. Playing that one. Pushes his way up onto the high ground. Fate going lower and lower. Not the highest energy here for Fitz, but still weakening the shield. But listen, will be taken down. That's going to be the retreat coming through for the Seoul Dynasty as they peel their way back to their side of the warehouse.
All right, now the scary thing for Seoul is that the EMP is about to be ready, and it's so difficult to enter any of these choke points versus EMP because you're going to be all clumped up. The supports are going to have to be at the back. And Highly can counter this if he's not caught. Here comes BQB, he's looking for the angle.
Needs it online first, so jumps back. Hack coming through over on the Toby. Says that's not right. Let's build a wall ride.
Translocator destroyed here, I believe, so.
Another one going to be coming down. EMP going to be thrown, and that's going to be 5 members caught. Highly is one of them with no sound barrier. That's going to be Fisher taken down, so again, held at bay. Florida Mayhem looking very well prepared on Havana here so far.
Need the translocator there to get that one off, and you know that's the ult they needed was that transcendence. And now they're kind of put on the back foot here. Only 30 seconds to go. Still having to fight through these choke points, which is so difficult.
It's going to be double grab coming through from either side. Transcendence is out from both these Zenyatas. No one's going to fall yet. Standard 3-3 practices essentially coming through. BQB. The one lone member here not on the 3-3 train does start building up closer and closer to that next EMP.
I think the Lucio uses the barrier second will probably win this fight.
See how things are going to go down. Hack forward onto Highly. He's going to be safe for now. Manages to stay alive. He'll be back here onto the low ground as the cart continues to advance. Only halfway to be so far.
BQB, the longer this fight goes, the closer he gets to an EMP that could be their trump card.
They left Michelle alone to force out the overtime. Somebody's going to tag in onto it. They barely managed to do so, but they jump straight in on top of that EMP. Toby gets the beat to try to keep them alive, but the kills come in for Florida Mayhem, cleaning up Seoul Dynasty and holding them here halfway through the warehouse.
When all you've got left is 2 sound barriers, both teams know it, they don't want to use it. All you have to do is back off if you're the Mayhem because you know you're going to get an EMP. They don't have any tools to fight that are going to come online that quickly. So they back away, get the EMP, use it to initiate. Toby's barrier is ready, but it's not fast enough. The picks come through. Great setup here, great knowledge of the map for the Florida Mayhem from start to finish, from bunker to controlling the chokes with the Sombra. And we'll see what Seoul Dynasty has in store because I think it might look very similar as most of the time when new maps come out and everyone's trying to figure out how they're most optimized, you do see a lot of mimicking of what's the most successful.
Well, looking good here on the new map. Florida Mayhem, can they get a successful attack in to try to put that map win on the board, make it a 3-1 victory for the Dynasty, rather than suffer a 4-0. We'll see what they piece together for their attack. Could just try to run a bunker, get that Bastion set up on the card, to advance from there. Dynasty, though, will just be running the 3-3 on defense.
The 3-3 is not a bad choice. You don't play around the, windows where you can place a Bastion. You don't play around the, this road right here, the street that is very easy to damage, to send damage down straight in a line because there's no cover for the attacking team. They're just going to play very far forward, very aggressively here. Now, this could certainly backfire for Seoul Dynasty if some of these players get picked early. I mean, look at how far they're playing forward. I mean, this is kind of nuts.
You kind of think that they're expecting up here. They want to deny the setup onto the card. Shots coming through Florida Mayhem. waiting patiently. Start pushing out. Now Dynasty aware that it will just be the nearly mirrored matchup with BQB still over onto the Sombra.
Yeah, it's a winning matchup for Mayhem in a lot of ways, especially with the spawn advantage. They need to get kills now.
They can get those hacks coming through. Fitz very aggressively pushing up right up to the spawn doors. Sayaplayer going to be taken down, but it's just going to be exchanged with the Brigidas. Fisher trading up a little bit as he does manage to finish off Chris. The tank line dangerously low. Have to go ahead and peel their way back up the street a bit so they don't get picked off.
When you look at the fact that Seoul didn't get an even full map here, and they were held so long on A, this ends up really hurting them, because BQB gets an EMP off of this. The card is still rolling. They did not delay the same way that Florida Mayhem did. And as smart as it was, as you say, to try to deny, what could have been a pirate ship, Bastion setup, it does come back to bite them because it was not that setup. And BQB's got their greatest tool now nearly online.
Have to see how they play around this one. BQB, got to get the heck out of there. Gets jumped on for the moment. EMP just going to be used. Shatter comes down from Fisher, but he gets stunned out of it, I believe. And now he's going to fall, as does Toby. Michelle knocked out of the mech. And that's just going to be a quick cleanup here for the Florida Mayhem as BQB continues to push forward for some additional ult charge. But point A, likely just taken right now for Florida.
Been, whisperings that Florida was doing very well on this map leading up to this match, and it certainly shows. They are looking so good on this.
They're going to contest this one. Just over 1 meter away are Florida. Sayaplayer goes up into the front. Shatter coming down straight into the shield of Fisher. Not going to be able to find anything. Is Fate. Now the beat coming through as Seoul Dynasty goes on the attack. Hack on the Fisher means he can only left click. That's pretty much all he wants to do in this situation, though. Now the grab comes in from Fitz. Catches out the Florida Mayhem. They contest right at the last second, and it pays off here for the Seoul Dynasty.
I think they had to do that. If they don't, and in the time bank comes through, BQB builds another EMP, you're looking at almost a one-fight situation there for just winning the map. So you've got to take a risk there. You've got to look for that fight. If you lose it, it's same scenario. So if you win it, you have so much to gain. If you don't take the fight, you have very little to gain from that. So I like this choice. Expensive in terms of ults, though.
Only a couple ults left here for the Seoul Dynasty. One of them already going to be gone as Michelle. Unable to find any kills with that self-destruct. Fisher going to be pinned and taken down by Fate. BQB is still holding on to an EMP. Wants to hold it for the next phase as they try to get that finish here on Havana. Put that win on the board. Michelle up over top of them, trying to harass, trying to get rid of that Sombra, but instead he's just going to get staggered a bit, taken down here on the back end.
So much there was not a clear focus there for Seoul Dynasty, on that. They were looking at the shield bash on BQB, but there's no follow-up damage. And Mayhem wins this fight basically for free. They get to keep the EMP. And this is amazing for them.
Yep.
The Dynasty, not a lot of tools to shut that down right now. Hyli's about to have trance, but it's not going to have it in time unless they just sit here and wait. But that means the cart is rolling.
He got caught by it last time. He needs to make sure that he stays safe. But given how open this top side is,
it's
not going to happen. 6-member EMP comes in from BQB. The cleanup will be there. Fate going to be taken down, but the kills very much going the way of Florida Mayhem as they continue their attack here. The cart slowly moving forward. Hyli using the Transcendence, tries to keep Michelle alive. Will be able to do so. Fisher going to be rejoining in momentarily. The cart continues to get closer and closer, rounding that final corner very swiftly. It's going to be another last-second contest here for the Seoul Dynasty. Let's see if it works out for him this time. Lobbed in from downtown is the grab from Fitz. Manages to catch the majority of members of the Florida Mayhem, but Hagapun has the Transcendence ready to roll, keeps them alive, and Fisher is getting taken lower and lower. Responding grab now in from Zephyr. Catches them along the wall, but the kill's still not going to be there for Florida. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock, however, for them. Things still looking rather good on this defense. A bomb for Michelle. Unable to find anything. The hack coming in. Zephyr going to be taken down. Toby finds that kill. The beat comes in. Another EMP, though. Gets rid of the shielding, but they still manage to win the fight.
It's such an awful fight for Florida Mayhem. Why commit ultimates here? You're 20% away.
As soon as they lost Zephyr, it should have been it.
You had 20% away from an EMP. You hold your ults. You've got 2 minutes. You've got the next fight won. Look at Seoul Dynasty's ults. They have very few. Now they've got the trance ready, sure, but if you wait for that next fight, you've got so much more opportunity to use your ults together. Then the last cherry on top of how discoordinated that fight was the EMP from BQB. It's so late. It has no place in that fight. They lost all the advantages they had. Oh no.
It seems like communication breakdowns in this final map from both sides. Dynasty looking a little bit, like they were falling apart before that fight. Now Mayhem's turn. Fate drops off the high ground, has to wrap back around to get up there with the rest of his team. Hang on, guys, wait for me, I'm almost there. But ults are coming online for both sides. There's no telling how it's going to go. Grab lobbed in again from Fitz. Going to beam them down with the Transcendence down from Agapun. Keeps them all topped up here for the moment. Highly going to be stunned. Transcendence comes in. They're unable to kill him before he can use the ultimate. Fate juggle over to the side. Going to be eliminated. Toby comes up with a kill. And Mayhem, they have to get the heck out of there. Now suddenly 1 minute remaining as BQB barely manages to translocate with his life intact.
Yeah, if he dies here on his way out, then we wish he would have died earlier, but he does survive. They will have the opportunity to take the EMP grab fight. There's no support ultimates here, so Florida still have a really good shot of taking this map. They have a massive advantage here for this next fight. Seoul Dynasty are going to have to respect the EMP, but there's no support outs to counter. They're going to have to spread to make sure it has less impact, which you can see they're doing right now. Michelle trying to see if he can grab that Graviton Surge, but he's pushed away. This is everything for Seoul. Last chance.
Going to be held for the moment. Zephyr still waiting. Bubble forward on a feint, trying to keep himself. Pushes forward. Throws it down into the back of the wall. Catches several members. Now the EMP comes in. That's going to be 5. 2 kills instantly for the side of the Florida Mayhem. Haven't lost anybody yet. And they're going to make sure that they don't as the beat comes in. Michelle uses the bomb. It lands on top of the cart. He will be able to make it back into the mech safely. But Fisher's now taken down. Toby, nearly with a beat of his own online, will be eliminated. The cleanup is coming through as Florida looks to put a map on the board. Highly just trying to buy a little bit more time. But it doesn't really matter. As soon as the Transcendence expires, it might just be it. Bubble forward here. They drop down. The grab is looking good. It's going to be taken out. Hagaman's going to be going down. The beat comes in. Dynasty. Can they actually do it? No way. He gets the right click against all odds. They look to turn this one around. The shatter comes through. Zephyr trying to beam them down. He'll get knocked up into the air. The OT plummets away. And oh my God. Dynasty. They turn it on its head. They make me look like a fool. They complete the defense here on Havana, and they get the 4-0.
You know what they say, Achilles? It's never over until it's over. You see the trance come out from Hiley. He buys time. They've got Fitz on the high ground. He's got a Graviton Surge. It hits everyone. Florida Mayhem hands off the keyboard. Everyone on the point. They're all locked up in the grab. He gets the high energy there, does massive damage. What a crazy comeback there for the Seoul Dynasty. Hiley just sits on the cart and everyone comes in hard.
Absolutely unreal. If that's what happens when I'm wrong, I don't want to be right again. Dynasty coming up with one of the most clutch defenses that we have ever seen.
Incredible new look for Seoul Dynasty with Hiley, Illicit. This team just gets scarier and scarier, more diverse, more 6-man rosters. And for the Florida Mayhem, you know, it was a tough loss to take. They looked clearly prepared on Havana at least. But we're still back at the drawing board, it feels like.
Yeah. A little roughness there from the Dynasty, but overall good stuff. They get the 4-0. But guys, let's go ahead and throw down to Danny Lim, who's on the floor with Fisher.
Wolf and Achilles, thank you very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Fisher from Seoul Dynasty. Make some noise, everybody. Yeah! Great job, Fisher. We all missed you. Good to see you back on stage. Now, Seoul Dynasty seems to be one of the teams that make a lot of changes in their starting roster. And I just want to ask, how do you guys decide who plays when between you and Marvel? 네, 마블 선수와 피저 선수 중에 좀 스타팅 로스터를 많이 변경을 하는 게 서울팀이 아닌가 싶습니다. 어떻게 좀 그런 변경을 얘기를 하고 어떻게 또 경기를 뛰시게 되시는지 궁금하네요.
일단은 저와 마블의 스타일 차이도 있을 거고 일단 그런 걸 판단하는 거는 저희 이제 보드진 코치나 감독님께서 제가 뛸지 이제 마블이 뛸지를 선택하기 때문에 그건 이제 어떤 기준을 뒀다고는 말씀드릴 수 없습니다. 전략이기 때문에. 네.
So it's part of a strategy, so I can't get into too much detail, but we do, both Marvel and I have a very different play style. So it is really up to the coaches and the staff to decide who would be the better fit for the match that we're in, and they decide and they think about it, and then they decide whether I play or Marvel plays. Okay, well, another question. I feel like we're about halfway into the season, and Marvel has more playtime on stage compared to you. Does that bother you at all? Does that make it difficult for you playing for Seoul Dynasty at all? 좀 어떻게 보면은 마블 선수와 좀 비교를 했을 때 솔직히 마블 선수가 조금 더 경기를 많이 뛰었잖아요. 또 지금까지는 피저 선수가 보실 때는 그게 좀 영향을 미친다고 생각하시나요? 좀 이렇게 좀 힘든가요, 그게?
아무래도 저도 프로게이머다 보니까 저도 경기를 뛰고 싶은 마음이 강하지만은 뭐 팀을 위해서 제가 뛰든 누가 뛰든 어쨌든 결국에는 팀을 위한 그런 선택이라고 생각하기 때문에 딱히 의구심을 가진 적은 없어요. 근데 아무래도 경기를 못 뛰니까 좀 힘들긴 하네요.
I'm gonna be honest. So because I am a pro player, and because I am not getting to play often on stage, it does bother me. It doesn't bother me, but it is a little bit difficult for me. But I know that the team is doing that for the greater benefit of the team, and they are making all the right decisions. So I don't doubt their decisions. But short answer, yes, it does affect me a little bit. Well, Fisher, I feel like we all wish that you could play it more often, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to be playing more often. 조금 더 피셔 선수를 좀 더 자주 봤으면 좋겠네요. Alrighty, thank you so much. Wolf and Achilles, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Danny. Good to hear from Fisher. Good to see that he's still chinning up despite the fact that he hasn't really been that present on the stage as of late. Taking a look at the strength of schedule, though, Dynasty ranking in there looking pretty good as far as their odds of making it back into the playoffs for this stage.
Fourth easiest strength of schedule going into stage 3, and with this dominant 4-0 and all their new players they brought into this roster, I do really feel like this could be the stage that pushes them back towards playoffs. So I'm talking about season playoffs, and maybe they'll have another run of it in the stage 3 playoffs themselves. They looked great in stage 1.
Yeah, that they did. I mean, we might have a lot of first-timers moving forward into the season playoffs. Shanghai Dragons as well, looking very, very good this season. But Seoul Dynasty, they come back in stage 3. They get that win. But guys, let's figure out who our player of the match is, presented by Omen by HP, as always. And it's going to be Hailey. Comes out for his first series on the stage, and
that's his first kill too. Knocks Chris off the wall. He's had several good trances as well in this series. Some of them a little bit risky, but they did pay off. And on top of it all, his decision making on when to hold trance, when to use it to make sure that Seoul always had the ult advantage was what was really impressive. Caught by EMP a few times, but I think we can let that go because his performance individually compared to the rest of the squad, I think he was definitely the biggest standout, and it was his first match ever. He was also the one who made the call to jump on the cart in the last second, which led to their victory on the 4th map.
Yeah, got that, and also only died 8 times for his first time on the stage, coming up with 74 eliminations as well, with 23 final blows. A very fantastic start to his career here on the big stage. Highly fantastically done. Looking forward to seeing more of this guy and more of the changes coming through from Seoul Dynasty, because clearly they're kind of able to put pieces in and out. Illicit coming through. We got to see the quadra kill on his Hanzo, so some fantastic stuff coming through. But guys, we're just halfway done with the day. We still have more Overwatch coming up. We got Guangzhou going up against Chengdu, so make sure you stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah man, I think I'm set.
Big day today, man?
Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.
готовности. Огонь по готовности.
Hey, it's more Overwatch League action time. That's right, our third series of the day. It's going to be Guangzhou Charge taking on the Chengdu Hunters. This one should be really fun. It's always fun to watch Hunters with their crazy style. And Guangzhou Charge, you know, this might be their moment to start kind of breaking out, getting some wins.
Well, we touched on this a lot in the previous stage, that especially Guangzhou has had such a rough time of it, and that has resulted in the Hunters in Charge being placed at 14th and 15th, respectively, in the standings.
So these wins are really important too, because again, you need to get at least to number 12 in the rankings to get to that play-in for the playoffs at the end of the season. So they're kind of just on the outside looking in today. So really, and we mentioned this in the first series we cast today, from now on, a lot of the matches are really important in terms of overall stage playoff or overall season playoff implications, that is.
Yeah, and you know, for a team that has a less than 50% win rate, it doesn't really matter right now, because if you can come in hot to the playoffs, so because it's a play-in between that 7th and 12th place position, even if you have a worse record at the end of the season, if you've climbed up and are coming in really hot into that playoff bracket, you can make one of those last two playoff seeds.
Yeah, certainly possible. Now, one thing that might help out the Charge at this stage is their strength of schedule. It's actually the easiest in the league in terms of the strength of their opponents overall, and this is another thing we talked about in Stage 2 especially. In the end of Stage 1, they had a brutal schedule as far as who they were facing. Gets a bit easier from now on, doesn't it?
Yeah, you look at the Guangzhou Charge, you know, over their last 10 matches, so it's at the tail end of Stage 1 into Stage 2, they had to play the Shock twice, they had to play the Titans twice. It's been really difficult, and there were some, I think, questionable losses they had in there, most particularly when they got dominated by Paris, which was sort of the outlier here. But now it's time for Guangzhou, with this easy schedule, to show us that they are going to be a top 12, a playoff-capable team.
That's right. Speaking of the Charge, let's welcome them now. Our first team in this series, the Guangzhou Charge. Here they come, the Guangzhou Charge. New theme music, I believe.
Yeah, that is.
Different from last
It's exciting.
time. Yeah.
I definitely didn't expect that.
All
They're
right.
getting high fives from all the people with the panda hats. I think those people really like the Chengdu Hunters.
I was going to say, I think they're like Trojan fans, or pretending to be, but they're really fans of the other team. But we'll see. The Charge again. You know, we talked about their strength of schedule. I would say, you know, from what we've seen, the Hunters are probably going to be one of the toughest opponents they face here in Stage 2. So a win here would be a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do have a new weapon as well in Nero, a player that has turned 18 during our Stage 2 to Stage 3 break. So will we see him not starting, but later on in this match?
Been hearing good things about that guy, so hopefully we do. But their opponents are going to be tough to beat. It's going to be the Chengdu Hunters. Let's hear it for your team of the day, the Chengdu Hunters.
Why do you think they have all that do not cross tape in their training facility?
They don't want to hurt anyone accidentally if they come in there, man. There are weapons flying wildly.
Dangerous Chengdu Hunters.
I wouldn't want to be in there with Bacon Jack and his quarterstaff or whatever else. People with their knives. It was terrifying. Well, here they are. The Chengdu Hunters ready to fight IRL. They'll fight you IRL, Monty.
I could take him 1v6.
We'll find out. That's next year's All-Star match, right?
I love it, though.
That's complex. Oh, they lost the hat. Oh, no. Okay, I'll give them like a 9 out of 10 for that one. If it wasn't for the hat coming off, it would have been a perfect formation. We'll see if they can bring that coordination to the online battle.
I love
the Overwatch League itself.
Yeah, I love the Hunters, and we are going to see Among starting here.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of chatter has come around from the fact that Jichiren is now here, another main tank player on this roster.
Yeah, Jichiren coming in as the main tank that kind of had always planned on using, but just wasn't able to make it. They tweeted today that he had swam all the way from Asia, and that's why it took him this long to get here. It's been a couple stages, but he's here. He's in the building, I would assume. He's just not on the stage quite yet. Hopefully we'll see him later.
But it's exciting to have two new eligible players, one on each of these two teams. And as you say, hopefully we will see them later in the set if they have had that time to gel. Miro has been here all season with the team, so he's been in the practice facility the entire time. Jichiren is a little bit newer to the American side of things.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do later if they decide to go ahead and play him. But either way, again, it's only the first match of the stage for both of these two teams. But when you look at the overall standings, it's a big one for both of them. Should be a fun time. And I wonder, with Jichiren coming in for the Hunters too, is that going to affect their overall style, right? They've been very distinct.
Big
They
question.
went on that wrecking ball, but we'll talk about that more later. Let's take a look at our map set brought to you by Toyota. Oasis will be the first map of this series. Then Volskaya for Assault, Eichenwald for our hybrid map, and finally Dorado on Escort. And you never know, we might need that fifth and final tiebreaker map. We needed it already once today. Could happen again, I think, pretty easily in this match, honestly.
As we look at the Chengdu Hunters, our stats analyst, Captain Planet, has some really cool new team fight metrics for this stage. And one of the things is Chengdu Hunters last stage were winning 54.1% of their team fights with Pharah. It was their most successful composition.
Okay.
But they only won 44% when they ran one of their 3 Pharah comps against Winston 3-3.
Interesting.
So Guangzhou obviously ready for this one, Jinmu coming in.
Yeah, Eileen on the Sombras. So we've actually got Sombras on both sides as we get things started here on the university at Oasis.
Eileen usually going to be on the Sombra in these control points here for the Guangzhou Charge. That typically has been his style.
Winston comes up to say hello to Jinmu, but he is ready, getting the healing right away from Yoltal. Keeping him alive. Happy actually takes a lot of damage there. Dangerous moment for him. Gets back under cover for now, but it is going to be Charge getting that early control, but not quite flipping it to their favor yet. Hotpa out of the mech. That's good for the Hunters. Can they chain this into a fight win, though?
They should be able to. Pharah Rocket's a lot more dangerous when you don't have the defense matrix. Also, Yang Xiaolong going to be poking at range right here. Eileen's coming in with the EMP. He gets Kyo.
That was a fast EMP, man. Kyo drops almost immediately before Eileen backs out. Nobody's taking the point yet, but it looks like Charge might finally do it. They do, despite being pushed back. They've got the early percent. EMP now for Elsa, though. Shoot, just roasting people from the ground. Why not? Jinmu flying a little bit too close to the Moira there. Sound barrier for Charge. This match has been fast and furious. They're actually going to go down and chase Amon. But why not, though? Get the tank out of the way, and Hunter's sent back to spawn again.
Yeah, going back to that, Guangzhou opening with the Winston 3-3, I think, is going to be the key here. Rio still going crazy on that back line. Picks continue to come in.
Yeah, Yang Xiaolong, though, pops attack visor, takes on Hotpa, gets Rio before he drops into the pit here, and Chengdu flips it right around.
That Valkyrie combination with the tack visor earns them the point back. Only 30% going over to the Charge, so quick retake on the side of the Hunters. Among going to body block Eileen in there, gets a punch in the end for good measure.
That Translocate did not take Eileen too far that time. It was a nice block one there. 30% for the Charge. That's what they achieve in their first hold of the point.
Watch Kyo's positioning right now. Be trying to dodge out this EMP. Should know that they have it, and we'll have to use that trance in order to be efficient.
Yeah, Eileen really thinking about trying to EMP so the fire falls off the edge. If he can catch Jinmu in the right position, Kyo gets hacked here. Waiting for it. Elsa, got the help back just in time. That was a close call.
Yeah. Also gets the EMP now, so both teams with the Sombra ultimates up.
Yep. Elsa hacks, or uses the EMP rather. Rio has to back away. Eileen down. Amon with an early kill there. It's going to be charged, flipping the point back again. They managed to push the Hunters off for just long enough to switch it over. Now Amon back in Wayman taking a lot of damage. Kyo trouble. That's a 3-kill from Hotba. Really? How did he catch them with that?
I don't know. That doesn't look like that should have happened. So Hotba somehow catches both of their supports and a third.
And we didn't quite see the angle on that.
Self-destruct.
Man, that was good. Let's check out what happened there.
Yeah, taking a look at Hotba.
All right, yeah, just toss it off to the side.
Nice setup there. Rio around the corner with the Primal Rage, making sure to knock them into line of sight.
Oh, well, this is